All right. He is a former professional soccer goalkeeper. He is, in my mind, one of the great goalkeeper coaches of Major League Soccer. You heard last show when he was on the different goalkeepers he's worked with throughout his career. He's a very humble guy as well. I will point that out. So I'm glad to get him on the radio. For many years we talked, well, it's probably not appropriate since he's working with the team, but now that we're both not working for the team, it makes it easy for me to have a radio partner. So we can all have fun with it, right? Life goes on. So, Tim, welcome. Thanks for coming up tonight.
Thanks, Glenn. Thanks for having me.
And thanks for Kim to bring you up as well. All the way from Galveston. Round of applause. That's an effort right there. Okay? I came from Rice Military. He comes from Galveston, all right? All right, so I want to take you into the Tottenham Hotspurs, the Spurs game today, because you and I were talking before we got on the air. Something you don't very rarely see, a goalkeeper yanked by a coach for performance in the first half. He gave up a bunch of goals in this game. Boy, that's a tough one psychologically, right? I just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
I think, Glenn, it's even worse in that I've seen guys subbed out at halftime, and I think he got subbed out in the 17th minute. It was
after goal number 3.
It was not good, and there's going to be a lot of questions asked of, obviously, was he ready? Well, clearly not, because the mistakes that he made, especially the one on the back pass, is just a guy that was panicked, and so was he ready for his debut in that environment? Probably not. So you're going to go to the goalkeeper coach, you're going to go to the manager, and it's going to be one of these things. The manager's going to be looking at the goalkeeper coach and saying, you said he was ready? What's going on here? And so, but to come out like that, it's going to take him a while before he can be ready, because everyone's going to be looking at him, all the professionals are going to be looking at him. They'll be great to him in the locker room. They'll try to pick him up and get him going again, but it's going to take a while for that young man to kind of recover.
So to Tim's point, the guy's name is Antonin Kinski, and he gave up 3 goals in 16 minutes. 2 of them were probably on him. The third one, I don't think so. But, man, that's your debut in the Champions League. I mean, that guy is somewhere right now laying there wondering about his career, wondering about the moment, in a tough place. And as Tim said, it'll lift him up. So you've had to make those choices. So, it's not all on the player, right? Because where does the accountability then lie when the meeting comes and we go, wow, what a nightmare this was in our goalkeeper position?
So I have a quick story. San Jose Earthquakes, when we brought Pat Onstad in to play in 2003, and it was our first game at home in Spartan Stadium, and it's on the interweb, but he literally punches a corner into the net, essentially. Actually, it went straight up, and guys are jumping for it. Then he goes to do something, and he punches it right in the net. And Frank Yallop, the head coach, just looked at me and said, and it was Frank's
it's
guy.
Your fault.
Because Frank was Canadian. They had this thing, I got this Canadian guy, Tim, you're really going to like him. And I was like, okay. And so Frank looks at me and says, he's made a right of me. And I was like, well, yeah. So at halftime, Pat's fallen apart, right? Because we had won an MLS Cup and been a good team. And so 2003, and he's and I just said to him, I didn't know what else to say, but these guys got you. Don't you worry. They're going to pick you up, Pat. They've done it for years. And it was against, I think, Kansas City, big game. And sure enough, Brian Mullen scores 1-1. We get the draw, come out of it. Pat turns out to be the goalkeeper of the year in 2003. And we win an MLS Cup, and he had a really good year. And so it's kind of down to those teammates. And maybe, I'm not saying this on my behalf, but maybe the guys around him, the manager will do that too. And Frank was a guy that I'm sure got his arm around him and helped. So it's going to take a village to bring this kid back up.
Yeah. Tim Hanley, former Dynamo coach. By the way, did you get a raise that year?
No.
They didn't give you a raise?
No way.
Goalkeeper of the year?
No way. No bonus.
Come on.
No. Joe Cannon made me a trophy once.
There you go.
Which was kind of nice.
Awesome. That's awesome. All right. So you just mentioned Pat Onstad punching a ball into his own goal. So we're looking now at set pieces in the world game. And set pieces I think it's some numbers like 33% of the goals are
Yeah.
coming off set pieces and corners. 1 in 5 goals are coming off set pieces. Now think about that. That's spurred now. Set piece specialist coaches. It's really changed the game. You notice people are stacking people inside the 6-yard box. In my day, it was you get away from the goal and you get a run at the delivery and attack it. Now you're stacking people in front of goalkeepers. Now, what kind of work can you do for goalkeepers to help him with that? Because it's essentially, I mean, how do you coach people now to work in this environment where there are guys leaning in, there's no room to do things? Tell me.
So on a daily thing, when you're working on that stuff, you might put obstacles in the way, put some bodies in, other goalkeepers are in there. You use not the hard mannequins, but the soft ones, and you do certain things to try to do it. But no goalkeeper or server, myself included back in the day when I used to hit the balls, can serve it the way some, like a Jack McGlynn or Brad Davis, who I always go back to, where the service is everything. And if you have a guy that can serve a ball into that dangerous area, now what they're doing is, like you say, get in the 6. A lot of teams will get in the 6 and keep that goalkeeper from having any chance to get the ball. They don't call that many fouls inside the 6 unless it's Arsenal on both sides. So
officiating's a piece of it.
It is. They don't really know how to handle it because there's fouls in every corner kick.
Yeah.
Every corner kick there's fouls, but they don't want to call it. This is contact stuff. So it's a very difficult situation. And I think the game today, the Liverpool one, they called a handball and a guy jumping up and hits him in the arm, but his arm was so it's difficult. But set piece coach is a thing. Teams, Arsenal, who used to roll the ball around, now they're known for the set pieces. Yeah. It's not just middle table when Stoke was just the king of that, long throw-ins.
Well, then the attention is now on
Liverpool's
coaching teams for the set piece, right?
And there's
so how much of that was going on at the Dynamo when you were there?
So
what percentage was? Each
team in MLS is a little bit different, and a lot of it is based sort of on not necessarily but a salary structure a little bit. How many guys do you want on your staff, and do you have someone in there that can manage more than one role? Mm-hmm. If you do, then you don't hire a specialist.
I know where you're
right?
going. Yes.
But it's true. You have guys that are really good at it, and we failed in the last few years because we really didn't have anyone that was that good at it. Really, Kenny took over in the last year that I was there last year. And
Kenny Bundy was an assistant coach. He's the guy who jumps up in the box every time there's a set piece.
That's right,
because
that's his responsibility, and it's so.
Yeah, but what are you going to do from the sideline? It's just like trust your guys.
That's a hard one.
There's no need to jump up unless you're nervous and you're just trying to be.
You can't message too much in those moments, but it's a really interesting. When MLS started, not every team had a goalie coach either. Yeah. It's just growing, and MLS is always going to be a little bit behind on the staffing part, but they're kind of catching up, and guys are doing a lot.
Okay, so back to corners. I've always sat there and looked at games, and I've said, stick 2 guys at the halfway line because they're going to have to react to that, and if they don't, I'll take those odds. So get 2 guys or 3 guys out of the box, stand them at the halfway line. Somebody's going to have to come with them, and now you're numerically taking people out of the box, and it may make it a little bit easier for a goalkeeper. I see teams doing that.
So during the CONCACAF Champions League, when the Mexican teams came up here, that was one of the things that they did. They would zone mark, let you have a run at them, and if your service wasn't great, and they know that, right? They're watching. And ours wasn't that great. When Jack came, it got a lot better. But it wasn't good enough. They would do that and just know that it was a bit of roll of the dice, but the percentages are you're not going to score in the corner. And they know that. The percentages, it's difficult.
Yeah.
But if you don't have great service, you're not going to score. And they just used it as a complete fast break, and they knew what was going to happen.
But did you guys react to that? If they're putting 3 guys at the halfway line, were you dropping 3 off?
Yeah, we're not stupid. I mean, we can. When you're looking at these guys and they're setting up in that formation, you know what's going on. You still feel a little bit, cocky, like, oh no, this is great opportunity for us. But way it turned out, it was a transition for the other team. So I think you'll see a lot more teams do that.
Yep.
It's similar to taking the space that's there that these guys allow, teams that play out now. They're letting Allison Becker and these guys just smash it because they know it's one-on-one back there. And that's the same thing with the corners. So it's a work in progress.
He's Tim Hanley, former Dynamo goalkeeper coach. What other clubs were you at?
Oh, geez.
LA Galaxy.
Galaxy, San Jose Earthquakes a couple times, Philadelphia Union, Columbus Crew, Dynamo more than once, maybe 3 times.
So just, the life of a goalkeeper coach.
You got to move.
Relocation. By the way, Club America is beating, it looks like the Philadelphia Union. That's CONCACAF.
And I was thinking
League,
that
right?
Philly was thinking ahead a little bit the other day when San Jose came and beat them at home. But maybe they shouldn't have been because, that's
Club America.
Club America's great.
Okay. But you know what? With that trend, if people are going to start dropping people to the halfway line, I think it's going to lead to some really interesting transitional moments, and it might open the game up a little bit aesthetically for everybody, entertainment-wise maybe.
Yeah, then you'll see, I would assume you might see some short corners. You're going to get numbers in certain areas and have that man up in certain areas, so to speak.
Yep.
And so it's going to create a little bit of flair. It would be fun.
Yeah. By the way, and I know you know this, but I was quickly trying to tell my story about going to the World Baseball Classic last night, which was amazing. It was sold out. It was like a soccer atmosphere. There was a lot of Mexico jerseys, a lot of Mexico hats. There was a lot of U.S. jerseys. Honestly, the Mexico jersey and hat is a good look. I like it a lot. They could have done better with the USA one. It didn't pop on the white uniform. But the USA won 5-3, so I guess the uniform looks better. But I was reminded of the fact last night because I've been doing so many soccer games for 30 years, and I usually don't go to stadiums that much, and because I'm doing it enough, like you. So I go last night. The great seats are great, and it's an atmosphere, and they're keeping it moving in between innings. It's not slow. Everybody's out there, big stars, and there's great plays all around. A couple of 4 home runs. It's great. But I'm sitting there and I'm going, man, I watch the Astros on TV, and don't get me wrong, it's a great team. It's been a great team for many years. But, boy, when you're there live, like, you feel how hard these pitchers are throwing at 100 miles an hour. You see guys put a bat on a ball and don't make great contact, and the thing almost hits the roof simply because the guy's throwing it 100 miles an hour. It's kind of like hockey, right? Like
anything
when
live,
you're there,
it's
so much better.
You sound like a real baseball fan right now, Glenn. I like it.
I'm going. I got to get a USA jersey, but I'm going to the quarters.
Get the Mexican one. It's better looking.
Yeah, I'll have more friends probably. Hey, the Mexican fans have a great time, and they add to it. They totally add to it. All right, Tim Hanley, we're going to do another segment with him. Let's give him a round of applause. By the way, I saw Olivier Finidori in the house, the former Houston hotshot. We're giving away this memorabilia tonight. We're going to do some raffle for this. This is a program from 1984, and you will be able to see what soccer looked like back in 1984. And I will warn you, it's a little different. All right, welcome back to Senate Avenue Brewing, 290 and Senate Avenue exit. If you're out and about on the town, come on in. We got a really nice group of people here tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming out here tonight, making this really fun. It's nice when we have a good audience, and we're building it out here, and it's going to be a great spot for the World Cup. We're seeing all kinds of jerseys: Manchester United, Fiorentina, which is a good one over here, but Caesar, who I met on the way in, who's already got his craft beer for wearing the jersey.
Yes, sir.
Had a jersey I didn't recognize. So I asked him what it was. So, Caesar, you take it away. Tell us the jersey you're wearing.
I'm currently wearing the Tampico Madero Jaiba Brava soccer jersey. Basically, the town is split in two, and more noticeably, the stadium right at the half mark. One side is Tampico, the other side is Ciudad Madero. So the stadium practically brings the town or the city together, the people together.
And you said it was a fishing town.
Yes, it's a fishing town. It's off the Gulf Coast, right at the very end of the state of Tamaulipas. And so the fishing is predominantly the job there, right? And so basically that is the mascot. it's a blue crab predominantly there in that area.
Oh, very
the
cool.
crab is a very like a fluorescent blue, like a Oiler blue almost. And so
Like the jersey.
Like the jersey. And so they get the nickname La Celeste. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. And this one is basically commemorating the championship from last year.
So they won the second division, but we still
Yes.
don't have promotion and
Unfortunately,
relegation
yeah, no
anymore.
pro
Nobody
rel.
really ever gives us a good answer why.
Yeah.
What do you think the answer is?
Well, obviously money, especially in Liga MX, you know. But I think pretty soon we might see pro rel again.
Yeah. Well,
Hopefully.
that's what they keep saying every year, right?
Maybe after this World Cup, we might see
It's
pro
kind of
rel.
like a new stadium in Boston.
Yeah.
Right? So before I let you go, I want to remind you that Caesar's in the video. Your buddy's name is Quentin?
Yes, Quentin.
Quentin's
Yes.
got a Fiorentina jersey on. We did a little video when they came
Yeah.
in, so we put it out. So if you want to see both the jerseys, but this is a very cool jersey.
Thank
And
you,
by the
thank
way,
you.
if the rent is cheap down there, fishing and soccer, I'm there.
And some good beer, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm there. Caesar, thank
Awesome.
you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Appreciate you coming on tonight here. So that's the kind of cool people that we get out here to these events. Another cool guy, along with me and Tim Hanley, is going to join us now. He's, as I lose my voice, Ziad Alan. Give him a round of applause. Played for the Houston Hotshots in the 90s. Exceptional attacking player, quick as lightning, scored a boatload of goals. Ziad, how many goals did you score in the indoor game? You scored a lot.
I have no idea.
I knew you were going to say that. That was a bad question. That was a bad question. But he played in the Summit, and the Hotshots got to the league championship, had guys like
Twice.
Ziad, Paul Dougherty, who was a great indoor player with you, Nebo Bandovic, a whole bunch of great indoor players. Just take us a little into the 90s.
Oh, the 90s, the good days. I mean, indoor was phenomenal. I mean, before the outdoor,
Yeah.
before MLS. I mean, at the Summit, it was phenomenal. Soccer. People loved goals, celebration. It was phenomenal, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and you drew good crowds. In the beginning, it was slow, but then when the team got better and you started winning games.
When we trying to bring good players around us,
Yeah.
and the crowd like playing, so they love it and they start coming.
It got bigger. And you're going to
And then-
sit through with us. Oh, go ahead.
In 1996, I think we played Monterrey. I remember the finals.
That was a great
There
rivalry.
were 17,000 people coming in. It was phenomenal.
I called that game. So I got my start calling his games in 94, indoor soccer, with Bill Land, who went on to do the San Antonio Spurs and the Dallas Burn. And that's where I cut my teeth calling Ziad's games and Olivier Finadori, who's going to join us here in a minute. But those days in the Summit, man, there was good crowds for indoor. It was. I always said it was a different sport, though. Do you believe? To me, it's a different sport.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. But, well, from a goalkeeper standpoint, 100%. We played a little bit in the NASL. We did both winter, indoor, and boy, it was so difficult. But some people just thrived. They just, but it was so entertaining. And during the 90s that we're talking about here, that was the game in town. In all these cities,
Right.
there was no outdoor. There was nowhere to go. You had
Yeah.
these Wichita Wings. You had all these great environments and teams and stuff. I almost signed for a club in San Francisco called the Fog, which
That's a
ended
great
up
name.
in Kansas City, but whatever. But it was the thing to do, and it's this captive audience and exciting, and like what you're saying, the goals and goals and goals and goals, and
Yeah, people
so
didn't really
many
have
great
to.
players.
People like now will say, well, I don't really understand football or soccer. I don't understand it. But you didn't have to understand that. It was just all-out action and just watching goals be scored,
Some really great skill.
basically.
Yes.
Yeah, there were some amazing guys. And there were also amazing guys, Ziad, that were top-class indoor players, but I noticed were not impactful outdoors. It was kind of weird, and vice versa. Like, I was a guy that did not like the indoor game. I didn't like shifts. I didn't like all that. I wanted to know I was playing 90 minutes consistent. I had a job to do. I did not like indoor soccer one bit because I didn't like coming on and off and taking shifts and all that.
I don't like it either, but
But you had no choice.
no choice. 12 years, it was
Yeah.
fun. It was really fun.
You were a really exciting player to watch. People loved it. You had Chico Borja as your coach.
First year,
Yeah. And then eventually Trevor Dawkins, right?
yes, sir.
Yeah.
And
Tell us
the-
about the two coaches.
it's different. I mean, Chico is only 1 year, travel for almost 8 years, I believe. So I don't have an experience with Chico, bad experience with him.
He was new.
Yeah, he was.
He was a great player. He played
He
for
was
the New York
phenomenal.
Cosmos.
Oh, yeah.
He was from New Jersey, near my neck of the woods.
Even travel, he's a phenomenal player. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was a good coach. He knows what I want. He was on me all the time. But it was
I noticed Trevor Dawkins worked you a lot.
a lot.
Like psychologically. I remember now it's coming back to me. You'd be on the bench and he'd be in your ear.
Yes, he was on me all the time.
Yeah.
But I love it. I like those coaches, to be honest with you.
He got a lot out
Yeah.
of it.
Oh, yeah. When the coach on you, that means he cares.
Yeah.
And he was a good coach.
Yeah, excellent. All right, Tim, I want to take you into the U.S. men's national team goalkeeping position.
Okay.
I like Matt Freese. I'm a little nervous, though, because based on our World Cup history, we've had exceptional goalkeeping performances from names like Keller, Friedel, Miola, Howard. And now I want to know how you're feeling about the goalkeeping position heading into the World Cup, because that is the one position that can win you a game or keep you in a game to potentially win a game.
Well, all of the guys that you just mentioned, with the exception of Tony Viola, played overseas.
European based.
So they played in a completely different environment and wanted so much pressure. And Tony was great, so there wasn't that opportunity for him at that point. But all the others, including like a Marcus Hanneman, who was with the U.S., and no one talks about him, but what an amazing run at Reading he
great
had
career.
for years. What
Yeah.
a great goalkeeper.
Yep.
So those guys in the real heat, they played in some big games, big stadiums, so that the World Cup environment didn't move them. Obviously they're going to get nervous and stuff, but the guys that we have now, that's not really the case. And the ones that have come back, Ethan Horvath and the Cody Croppers over the years, these guys that went overseas and then they just weren't quite good enough. And so, and Stefan would be good enough, but he kind of got hurt, beat up, with the knees and stuff. So it's right to be a little bit anxious about it, because they haven't cut their teeth in enough massive games.
Well, and I'm relating it to what we saw today, because you either live up to the moment in the World Cup, which, I mean, I don't know what that pressure is because I've never played in the World Cup, but I can imagine it's pretty intense, no different than a guy today who starts in goal for Spurs in his first ever Champions League game. So that's going to be a big question mark. Game one is, how does your goalkeeper get through this game? How confident is he? And does he live up to the moment and the pressure, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And who would you say is the backup for you? I mean,
I thought that even though he was young as well, I thought when Patrick Schulte was playing well and they won another MLS Cup up in Columbus, that he was a good option. Mm-hmm. But it's a little thin. I think Matt Turner's very much like Matt Freese. They're great athletes, and Matt has just had the opportunity to get in and do well enough to stay in. But as far as being international caliber goalkeepers, Frieda was, Keller was, Howard, those guys are true internationals. They could play at so many different clubs around the world. And if we were to send, and I love Matt Freese, but if we were to send him to another club overseas, it would be difficult. It would be difficult for him to start.
All right, Matt, if you're listening to the show, you can do this. We got your back. You can do this. You just led me into something here. I was just thinking about the one thing about Matt Turner. He has played the World Cup.
Yes.
So that, who knows? I don't know. And Fidel, what's happening with Mexico? If you tell me Memo Ochoa is playing in goal, I quit. Malagon?
Oh, no.
Mexico's got a goalkeeping issue,
no.
too. So, if there are any goalkeepers out there, the U.S. No, okay. All right, let's continue on here. Some thoughts on Major League Soccer this year? Overall.
So far, it's been really exciting. I haven't. I think I said this last time I was here. When you're in the job and you're forced to watch games or forced to watch the next opponent, there's only so many hours in a day when you kind of see games. I've seen a fair share now, and it's kind of fun. I don't have a dog in the race or whatever you want to call it, and so it's been kind of fun to watch. You were talking about the German in San Jose. My God, what an assist! Yeah. What an assist the other night, right? Yeah. And then the Dreyer guy at San Diego. So these guys that you get to kind of focus on, and just some really good players, and it's been really fun. And also, to your point, we played a match against Seattle last year. They had 6 Americans on the field, and I find that those guys, this whole Seattle, Craig Weibel's there, Sean Henderson, all these guys that are working that front office there.
And it's the culture.
It can be done.
It's the culture, too,
yes.
at all the levels.
Yes.
And that's the thing we're missing here, and I think the Dynamo front office just doesn't get that. I'm sorry to say. I mean, you can bite your tongue. Don't worry. I'm independent. It's okay. But that is the one thing you look at with Seattle, whether it's college, youth, amateur. Your coach is a guy whose father had a soccer store, and he's one of the most successful coaches in U.S. soccer history, and Brian Schmetzer. There is something to say about having a community that rows their soccer oars in the same direction. Unfortunately, in Houston, we all row in our separate areas, and that's something I see that's very vivid, very clear, and the people in leadership roles in soccer in this city now, apart from one, they don't get it. They don't get it, and they're not going to get it. And until that changes, it's difficult. And
it's a hard road.
Yeah.
It is a hard one because you have to be committed to winning.
Yep.
You have to have an ownership group that's committed to winning and giving you what you need to do that. And then the people that are up there have to be able to trust some of the Americans. You have to trust them, and you got to play them, and they got to get those moments to play a little bit. And I think that's when you're worried about losing your job. You know, if you're up in a front office position, you're anxious as well, and you're trying to put something on the field that wins games.
So let me ask you just straight up. We see homegrown signings. We see a kid, Kieran Sargent, who obviously is making it in San Diego after 3 games. He's left-footed, which is unique. Is it just they don't want to give opportunity?
That for me, that particular example, and there's a bunch, that particular example with Kieran was he wasn't ready when he was with us.
So wait until he's ready.
And that's a patience thing. That is, how long can you wait and see the games? What he showed us in the 2 matches and at training.
All right, but I don't want to go off on one player. I'm talking about the general attitude of it. It doesn't seem like they care patience. About playing young kids.
It's a 5-year plan. Yeah. It takes some real tolerance and patience.
Yeah, that's what they told me 5 years ago. Unbelievable. I mean, hey, let's give it up for Tim Hanley.
Okay, woo!
By the way, we're going to have him on again. We're not going to make him drive from Galveston. He can do it on the phone. But we're going to talk about a coaching business that he's setting up when he comes back. He's going to do a really interesting coaching business. One more round of applause for Tim Hanley, please.
Thank you.